In the case of Commonwealth Kentucky versus Jordan Henning, the verdict on the penalty phase is we, the jury, fix the defendant's punishment for the offense of first-degree manslaughter under instruction number 1 at 20 years, signed by the foreperson. Again, let me ask, is that the unanimous verdict of the entire jury? All 12 members? All right, thank you.
That was the sentence handed down to Jordan Henning, what many are calling a shocking sentence for the crime. 20 years for killing his wife, Ashley. Is that enough? A jury convicted Jordan Henning of the lesser charge of first-degree manslaughter, which really did surprise those who had been watching the trial and saw those damning and highly disturbing surveillance videos. We were all able to see how Jordan Henning chased and killed his beautiful wife the night of her birthday, shooting her repeatedly, coming back after his gun jammed and spitting on her. Ashley's friends and family were in distress over what they considered a very lenient sentence, and we saw Ashley's cousin not holding back his disdain and outrage for the jury's decision.
I have one more thing to say. I've served this country for almost 22 years. 22 years in the Marine Corps. I've deployed 7 times to a combat operation, to combat zones. 9 times total deployed. And this is the justice that America gives me. Unthinkable, unspeakable, it's disgusting. Thank you, John. Cowards. Every single one of you.
Any cross-examination?
Every single one of you are cowards.
Prosecutors argued that after Ashley's birthday party, Jordan flew into a rage. His defense team said there was more to the story than the video showed. They made the argument that Jordan was a victim of physical and mental abuse and simply broke. Clearly, the jury believed him in the story that he told on the witness stand. And we know that Ashley's family is understandably heartbroken. And I'm so pleased to be having on the show this morning Ashley's cousin, who we saw speaking out, John Williams, and Ashley's dear friend, Holly Victorino. May I just start by, John, first of all, saying thank you for your service, and to you and to Holly and everyone else in Ashley's family and friend circle who misses her so much. We are so sorry for your loss. I know this is a tough thing to experience and a tough pill to swallow last night for you with that verdict. John, would you kind of walk us through what was going through your mind when you heard the jury's decision, please?
Yes, ma'am. It started with shock, anger, confusion. I couldn't understand how anybody who's seen that video, and they even came back to ask to see the video multiple times for some of their jury questions, and to see some of the most gruesome parts and to come away with that decision, it was unbelievable to me.
I'm sure it was. It was unbelievable to so many of us trial watchers who were watching it, and many of us, myself included, thought this was a foregone conclusion. When I heard his defense attorney ask in opening statements to find him guilty of something lesser than murder, that told me, oh wow, this guy probably would have pled to that, but these prosecutors did not want to allow that to happen, and I don't blame them. I think they were absolutely correct to move forward on the murder charges, and here the jury did what they did. Holly, tell me your reaction. Where were you when you heard the jury's decision, and what did you think, please?
Yeah, I was in the courtroom sitting right by John. It was just the same as him. It was shock. I was devastated, disgusted. And I cannot help. I thought of this all night. I cannot help but think this is strictly on the prosecutor's shoulders. And also, I feel like this is because Ashley was black, and had the tables been turned and she killed her white husband, she would have been held accountable and done much more time than 20 years. And I just feel like this whole entire court system failed her. When they were doing jury selection, they had over 100 jurors show up for selection. They selected 14, with 2 being alternates. Out of all of that, there was only one beautiful black woman who was on that. Just yesterday, right before everything started, deliberations, they said they were going to randomly select 2 people to be let go. She was one of them. That beautiful black lady was one of them that got selected to be let go. And I cannot help but think there's just more to the story, and that a lot of it has to do with race, and I am furious. It's disgusting, and it's just something I feel like I'm never going to get over.
Holly, thank you so much for sharing that, the makeup of the jury. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, so this was then an all-white deliberating jury. Am I correct
Yes,
then,
ma'am.
if you're saying that one of the
Yes.
folks who was chosen to be an alternate was the one, you noted, just stunning black woman who was on the jury hearing everything? Ooh, you know, who knows? Who knows? But thank you for raising that point. And I know many of our trial watchers, you know, who are discussing things on message boards and whatnot, have wondered the same. The one thing that I was talking about on my show yesterday with a friend of mine who is a retired JAG officer is that in all the testimony, we didn't hear anybody but Jordan Henning saying that he was abused. And I can't help but wonder if there was some projection going on. I don't know. John, tell me, in all the years, thinking back, I know hindsight's 20/20, was there ever a situation where you thought Ashley might have been abused or controlled by Jordan?
Controlled, yes. I did not think that Jordan would be dumb enough, callous enough, unbecoming of a man enough to abuse his wife, to abuse his children. And to be quite frankly, I don't think that Ashley would tolerate anything that would rise to the level of abuse.
Understood. So just controlling actions, maybe controlling words, but nothing physical to your knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that, John. We know that that day was supposed to be a celebration, her 37th birthday. A party at her house. I mean, and it turned into a nightmare, as you both know. Holly, you were so kind to share with us a video that a friend of yours took. You were there at the birthday party. Let's take a look back together at beautiful Ashley.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ashley.
Oh, that's hard to watch, isn't it? You know, and I obviously don't know her, but I just feel for you both. Holly, what do you think when you see that video?
First off, I just want to clarify, I was not at the party. Her other friend that
sorry.
testified, Jamie, was the one that recorded that. That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you for
Seeing
that.
that video is, yes, ma'am. Seeing that video is heartbreaking because it just gives you a small glimpse of the type of person Ashley was. She was happy. Anytime she was around her friends, she was happy. Just the most caring, bubbly person. She had the best laugh. It was so loud and she just had the best laugh. And she was supportive of all of her friends and family. And I cannot help but be disgusted when I watch that and to know that only a couple hours later, her life was taken from her.
I completely understand how you feel. You know, I saw that video evidence, and it's rare you get evidence like that in a homicide case, especially a domestic situation behind closed doors. And the evidence was certainly there to substantiate those charges. I don't know what the jury saw. I know what I saw. John, tell us more about Ashley, you know, because prosecutors are restricted on what they can bring in about a case victim, right? You wish you could share everything with a jury, but the rules don't allow you to. So share with us some more. Tell us more about your cousin.
Yes, ma'am. She was an Army soldier. She was a wife, a mother. She was a volunteer. She just recently graduated with her degree in human resource management, volunteering at the local the food shelter down here in Hardin County. You know, juggling her son, taking him to soccer games and soccer practices. She was everything. She was Superwoman. She was Wonder Woman. She could. There was nothing Ashley couldn't conquer. There was no one that came in contact with Ashley and walked away with the negative perception of her. how do you take somebody like that in this world, take someone like that who means so much to everybody away from us? And there's no way to describe what Ashley meant to me, to her friends like Holly, to her friends like Miss Jamie Savat, to my family, to her children. How do you describe the loss of everything? She was everything.
What a beautiful human being. What a successful human being, an American hero your cousin was. My heart breaks for you, John, and Holly, for you too. I know, sometimes friends they're family of the heart, right? And I know you loved her too, just like John does and always will. Ashley's kids, I keep thinking about her kids in all this. And of course, we can't show them and we want to protect their privacy, but how are they doing, Holly or John, if either of you have spoken to them recently? How are they holding up?
Yeah, I just spoke to her oldest son last night on FaceTime, and the best way to put this is these children were given a life sentence that they didn't ask for. Carter is still a young child, and all I think about is what if he's invited to birthday parties and he sees a slip and slide? He's going to remember the night that this happened and that this fight started over a slip and slide, and it's just... she's not going to be there. Her oldest son graduates high school this year. She would have been the loudest one, cheering him on, supporting him. She's not going to be there for anything. And it is so heartbreaking because they deserve so much more, and all of this could have been avoided. I worry a lot about Carter, because he was unfortunately very, in the moment with them when this was happening. He ran away terrified. He did what he could do to try to save his mom. And I know this is gonna be on his shoulders forever, and I hope that he doesn't feel guilty for this. And I do want to mention that this child has so much weight on his shoulders that at Ashley's funeral, he couldn't even go in the room for a long time. And then when he did, he walked up to her casket, just collapsed himself on her body and was apologizing to her as if it was his fault. And it's this jury, this judge, this entire court did her no justice. And now these children have to live with the life sentence they were given by the monster of a stepdad they lived with.
Wow. Gosh, Holly, thank you for sharing that. These are the stories that we don't get to hear and we should get to hear. On Court TV, we show the trials. Our cameras are restricted to showing that. And unless, people like you who are tremendous advocates for Ashley come forward and share those stories, they're left untold. So thank you for that. Our hearts, our love and prayers go out to you both and to Ashley's children. They should be so proud of their mom. And for her son who tried to get her help, he should be so proud. That was a valiant effort, and he did everything right that day. I hope he knows that. Please come back. Let us know how the kids are doing. You both, I know, are going to be great advocates for them. Whether you know it or not, you're already advocating for Ashley's children and carrying on her legacy. And I want you to know we're certainly not forgetting about Ashley here at Court TV. We're saluting her. I saluted her in my opening statement this morning at 8, and we want to do it again as we go to break. John Williams, Holly Victorino, thank you both so much for sharing all of this about Ashley Henning.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And as we go to break, let's remember and salute Master Sergeant Ashley Henning. She served our great country for several years. She was the mother of 3 incredible children, and we know she was taken from this earth far too soon. As you just heard, she was a light and she was loved and a bright spot in everyone's life who was lucky enough to know her. May she rest in power. We'll be right back.